Hey guys, this is the Savvy Business Chick, making sure that you know your purpose and destiny in the marketplace. And tonight we're going to talk about Ohio. That's right. I keep getting calls. Hey, how are you? I keep getting calls from Ohio, and I haven't done a live in a minute. And I just want to welcome all of you guys. Oh, we live. Hey, thanks so much for joining me. Yes, I do go live. So if this is your first time catching me on live, thank you very much. And please let me know where you're watching me from. Hey, L'Oreal. Hey, everybody. If this is your very first time seeing, joining me live, please let me know in the comments where you are watching me from. And I just want to celebrate you. And thank you so much for just being on my page. And I just had a rare opportunity where I can get on here and do a live. And normally Tuesdays are the days where I take tons of calls. Hey, Demand. Wait a minute, Demand. You've been up here before. Is that Rayvon? Michaela from Florida. Thank you so much for joining. Thanks, everybody. But yeah, I take tons of calls on Tuesdays, and it's my day to give back, especially, I thought that was you. Hey, girl. Hey, thank you for watching from Ghana. Ghana in the house. Thank you so much. Where I take tons of calls of new, aspiring home care CEOs, and some of them are already in business, and they're wanting to know one major thing. How do I get started? It's funny. I was talking to a guy today, and I said, you do know this call is 10 minutes, right? And he was just asking me all of these interesting questions like, what are the characteristics of, starting a home care business? And I said, are you interviewing me? He said, I promise you, I'm not a news reporter. And it just felt like a podcast interview or something. And I said, sir, can you get to the questions of how, what's it going to take for you to get licensed to your state? Okay, I'm getting to that. And by the time he got to that, we literally had 2 minutes. So I gave him, as much information as possible. But one of the things, hey, Sharice, how are you? One of the things I really try to do, because the home care industry is such a tight-lipped industry, one of the things I try to do is reveal the secrets. Why? Because I'm sowing the seed in the future. Hey, beautiful. I'm sowing the seed in the future because basically what happened to me is that I had a home care mentor who taught me A to Z of how to start my home care business. And I believe it was all the difference of me succeeding in business. And I know sometimes, thank you so much for the 100s. I know sometimes it's like, Dad, why won't somebody share? Well, there are some things that we can't share and we shouldn't share with you. They should happen in a more closer relationship. And so that's why I invite people to join my home care mentorship program, right? And even if you can't join my home care mentorship right away, take some classes. There are people that take a class and then they make their mentorship fees right away because they'll get 2 clients. Sometimes I'm surprised. Like last week we had a session and one of the ladies said, hey, Sean, yeah, I got a new workers' comp client within 30 days. I was totally unexpected because sometimes they give me the heads up via email, but I was really happy for her. And I would love to be happy for you. I love to hear the testimonies coming in of you succeeding, because this business is hard enough for us to say, yeah, I hope she don't do as good as me. No, we all can make it. We all can make it out here. If we take a look at the numbers, there's enough seniors and disabled people and P's out here for all of us to make it. They're not all getting served, believe it or not. But I'm off of my soapbox now. I'm going to share with you guys today, even if you're not in the state of Ohio, maybe you know someone that's in the state of Ohio. If you do, invite them Let's share the word. I appreciate you when you guys give me hearts and, you know, you write in the comments. It lets Instagram know what's going on over here so that more people can join. But there's somebody out there wanting to get this information that I'm about to share, and that is how to start a non-medical home health agency in the state of Ohio. And this is actually a very easy state to become a non-medical home health agency. It's not like Illinois. It's not like Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania is pretty easy too. It's not like Maryland. It's not like DC. It's definitely not like Florida and Texas. It's not like Georgia. It is much simpler. And so I'm going to be mixing up probably later this month. I'm going to redo Georgia. I haven't done Georgia in a long time, but I'm going to start with the easy one and then a little bit more layered home care agency to get started in. So just, you know, tell people to tune in because I may be answering a question that you have been longing to know. So first, let me start off with some of the perks. Ohio was at one point a non-regulated state. And then last year in July, they said, we're going to regulate the home care agencies in this state. Now, you have to appreciate, even though sometimes it's a hassle, why are these regulatory agencies, why do they exist? Well, they're there to protect the little old lady, or if you have a pediatric home care agency, they're protecting the special needs child, the medically fragile child, and their family member, and the little old lady, or basically they're there to protect the consumer and to give governance or rules, regulations, and guidelines of how you're supposed to operate your business. And that's how you have to come up with policies and procedures, because they said this is how we want you to conduct yourself. And I don't want to say it's like having an HOA, but if you've ever had an HOA, then you might say, okay, well, I know I can't keep my grass high, right? Because if I don't cut my grass after a certain period of time, then I'm going to get a notice. So they keep you regulated underneath those guidelines. And if you follow them, you won't have a problem with them. If you don't have any complaints, you won't have a problem with them. Then I do want you guys to know that when you become Medicaid certified or even a Medicare certified, that's like having another new boss. But your main thing, the person that can pull your license, is this regulatory board. So this state is pretty easy. The licensing fee for Ohio is $250. I posted that before. That's a flat fee of $250. They have an online application, but I suggest you just go ahead and print out the application and fill it out. It's about 2 to 3 pages, and it's pretty easy to fill out. It's not something that you would have problems, understanding how to complete this application. Let me see if I can share it. And if you are in this state or know someone that's in this state and you have some questions, please feel free to write it in the comments. Okay, yeah, I think I can share it. Hopefully my screen is clean on that side. Okay, pretty simple. You would click that you're an initial. This is the same application, and this is not. This is pretty similar in most states. This is the same application that you would use if you were renewing your license, right? But for this example, we're talking about your initial application. You would just simply fill out page 1. Like I said, it's pretty self-explanatory, and you would put what your business structure is, your office hours, your address. Here's a great thing that if you're in the state of Ohio, you can start your business in your basement or in your kitchen. If you're an individual owner, it says skip 16 through 19. Basically they want each owner's name and each owner would also have to do a fingerprinting results. And we'll talk about that in a second. Then each of the owners named that has an interest of at least 5% or more. And then if you have like a C Corp, S Corp, you want to put the officer's name there. And then they have these questions about the administrator. You sign it. You print it out and you sign it, and that's it. Now you can submit this application online. But I recommend that you just print it out because you have a couple of attachments. So that's what the application looks like. For those of you who are on here, do you have any feedback about the application? You might not even be in the state of Ohio, but you might say, wow, that application is a lot less complicated than my state. Because like, say, for example, Florida's application or Illinois' application or Georgia's application or Maryland's application is a lot more complex. And then when you look at it, you're like, oh my gosh, how am I going to complete this by myself? But that's why I said this state is relatively easy. Hey, Angelique, how are you? So if you have any questions about that before I move on, let me know. Post in the comments. I'll take a sip. Okay, let's keep going. Okay, so you do not need a commercial office space. Yay! Hey, girl. You do not need a commercial office space, and that's a good thing because you can save on your overhead when starting this kind of business, a non-medical home care business in the state of Ohio. And another great thing, you do not need a registered nurse. Yay! Yes, there are some states that even if you are a non-medical home care agency, they want you to have an RN, a registered nurse, on your home care license. But not Ohio. Ohio says you do not need a registered nurse to start a home care business there. Yay! Okay. Okay, let me know if you guys can hear me. I had a timer just go off. Again, when we're going over the application, it was asking you to list the owners, right? It was asking you to list the owners. Well, each of the owners is also considered somewhat of an applicant, and the owners would need to complete what's called a fingerprint impression card. Now, you have to go to a specific place that is designated by the state to get your fingerprint impression cards. Now, your fingerprint impression cards is not a criminal background check, but they do. That is a requirement for this license, is that you get a fingerprint impression card. Now, you guys, this just came up. Now, I've had people. You remember I said I get all kinds of calls on a Tuesday. I've had people say, hey, Sean, I have a record. What do you think? Is this kind of agency I can start in my name? I would say most likely not. Especially if you have a felony that's listed on the state. Especially if it's listed on the state as a reason why you can't hire a home care agency, a home health aide, then that would disqualify you as well from being able to open that kind of agency. So what you can do is call me. I'll tell you how to get around that, okay? Because I have helped a couple of people with that situation. Okay, so you got your fingerprint impression cards. Check. All right, so you completed your application. Check. You got your fingerprint impression cards. Check. Would you register your business? Hopefully you register your business before these steps. Register your business first. Why? Because when we finish this, you will need to provide copies of your IRS documentation and your business entity legal document. That's most likely your articles of incorporation, right? So going back. Okay, so sorry if I'm going back and forth. You guys will get the 1, 2, 3 later. you will need to get a $20,000 surety bond. That is a requirement for the state of Ohio. Now, wait a minute. Just because it's a $20,000 surety bond, that does not mean that you pay $20,000. That's almost like I have auto insurance that goes up to $100,000 aggregate, right, per incident, right? So that means that that surety bond that you can, always say start with your existing auto company. Ask them if that's something that they can do. A lot of insurance companies also do business insurance, and ask them how much would that be. You need to complete what's called an affidavit that goes with that surety bond to be able to qualify and submit your application, and let them know what you're doing, because they've done that before, especially if they're in your state. They know what the requirements are. Okay, so you got your fingerprint impression cards, you got your surety bond of $20,000. You printed out your application, you have your business registration documents, you have your IRS paperwork. Sometimes that can take anywhere from 7 to 10 business days to come back. Here's another thing that you need to do, that you need to put, this is all going in one package. You need to have a list of your service. Hi, I'm not sure why you're trying to join my live, but you can leave a question. You can post a question in the comments. You need to have a service description. Is it still there? Is it blinking out? Can you guys hear me? Let me know if you can hear me. Let me know if you can hear me. We got all kinds of interruptions right now. If you can hear me, give me the number 1. If you can hear me, give me the number 1. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? If you can hear me, give me the number 1. Let me put in the checks. Can you hear me? Okay, you guys can still hear me. Okay, great. I don't know why my husband was calling me at this time. Okay, so, okay. All right, so that makes it easy. And hey, because I know we have some existing home care CEOs up here. You may have a family member in Ohio, and this could be a easy business startup for them. So I hope you guys are listening and taking notes. I may not save this, so please. So you need a service descriptions. Now your service descriptions are, now you're doing non-medical, so your service descriptions are homemaker, companion, live-in, personal care, respite care. It's pretty simple for non-medical. You want to make it simple for submitting to the state. When we get into marketing your home care business, then you want to be a little bit more elaborate and use some marketing language called copy. And then lastly, you need to include the geographic area that your agency would serve. You can do it by counties, by listing the counties that you'll serve. Now, I do not recommend you say statewide, because sometimes they may say, and how are you going to do that? So be realistic and, maybe do something like, say 50-mile radius from your office, or just actually list out anywhere from 5 to 7 counties. Okay, so that's the basics. Now let's get into one of my favorite things, is to let you guys know the statistics of your area. So there are, let me see, 1, 2, I thought I listed this before. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. Sorry guys, I'm counting the main cities that you can be very successful in Ohio. 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41. About 41 cities. Now let me list them out for you. Again, if you have any questions, please feel free to leave it in the comments. Akron. These are the top cities that, according to my marketing statistics, are very, you will be very successful if your home care business is located in these cities in Ohio. Remember, we're talking about Ohio. Akron, Beaver Creek, Boardman, Brunswick, Canton, Cincinnati, Cleveland, Cleveland Heights, Columbus. Let me get back to Columbus. Columbus is a really lucrative area. Okay, this is going to test my pronunciation skills. Cuyahoga Falls. I think I definitely messed that one up. Please forgive me. Dayton, Ohio, Delaware. That one was a tough one. I'll spell it out for y'all later. Dublin, El Raya, Euclid, Fairborn, Fairfield, Findlay, Guyana. Sorry, I don't know what's going on with this. Grove City, Hamilton, Hubbard Heights, Kettering, Lakewood, Lancaster, Lima, Lorraine, Mansfield, Marion, Mason, Massillon, Mentor, Middletown, Newark, North Olmsted, North Royalton, Parma, Reynoldsburg, Springfield, Stowe, Strongsville, Toledo, Upper Arlington, Warren, Westerfield, Westlake, and Youngstown, Ohio. Those areas you will be extremely lucrative in starting a home care business in the state of Ohio. Now, let me give you, now that I've touched on that, let me give you since we're talking about non-medical, the rate for private pay varies. So if you're in the Toledo area, you can charge anywhere from $26 an hour. If you're in the Cleveland area, you can charge around $27, $25. If you're in the Lima area, you can charge about $24 to $26. See how it really varies. Mansfield area, $24. Akron, it's low in Akron, about $22. Youngstown, $22.50, not too much. Canton area, $25. Dayton, $28.50. Springfield, Ohio, $23. Columbus, $29.50. And Cincinnati, $27. And this is based upon the cost of care survey done by AARP recently. So if you're like, where do you get these numbers, Sean? Why is it jumping all over this place? It's not coming from here. This is coming from that data. Okay. Next thing, which I'm really, really excited about, is really a really good thing, in my opinion, because I like diversity when it comes to starting my home care business. I like to know that it's not just one singular kind of client if starting there, be able to serve. Cleveland, I think we just talked at Cleveland was $27.75. And when I add like the 50 or the 27, that's because that's the median. So let's say if the lowest was 26 and the median was at $27.25. Let's say if the highest was $28.50. Now here's something I'm really happy to share from our research. Okay, and sorry that it's based upon one area right now, because we were just doing some quick research. In the Columbus, Ohio area, there are 110,000 veterans. That's a lot of veterans in Columbus. Let me say the number again. Did you guys hear me? 110,000 veterans. So if you were only thinking seniors, now is the time to know that veterans will be a really good program for you a really good target audience for you. How does that work? Have you ever heard of VA, the Veteran Affairs? Well, the Veteran Affairs have these programs that are called home-based primary care. And they help they provide health services, meaning the VA will pay for qualified people to give veterans health services in their home. The program, I'm reading this part because I want to make sure I said it right. The program is for veterans also if they're isolated and their caregiver is burnt out. So that means they have a personal care version and they have a respite care version. Home-based primary care can be used in a combination with other community-based services. So they can maybe have, they can basically be on Medicaid and be able to get this benefit through the VA. And so that's a really good thing, because the VA tends to pay a lot better than Medicaid, right? Because they want to take care of their veterans. So I thought that was really good news. And applying to the VA can take up to like 6 to 8 months. You know, sometimes it's faster. The VA, the Veteran Affairs, goes in sections of the country. So I think Ohio is still on the East Coast. Let me see. But one of the things that I thought that was really significant about that is that being that it's so many veterans, they're going to have tons of programs in, let's just say, Ohio for veterans. So that's a really good thing. You don't have to just only focus on seniors. You can focus on, disabled veterans and have some consistent income with that group as well. Can you do VA in other states too? Yes. But I suggest we do the research, we see what's the population, and then go from there. If you guys have any questions, I might have answers for you. Questions. So, unlike some Medicaid programs, the VA won't necessarily pay your spouse to be a caregiver. But they will allow people like children, nieces, nephews, and grandchildren. They can be paid as caregivers, but they won't allow a spouse to be paid as a caregiver. So that could be an incentive to the family who is already taking care of that loved one, that they can get paid for and not just, have it be a labor of love. Any questions? Well, all right. I will end this broadcast and I will see you guys next time for another informative home care CEO session. Peace.